is top 10. 10 out of 10 better go tell a friend, 'cause 10 out of 10 is top 10.
We're back. Part two.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Gloria Altania.
And I'm Betty Bima.
And you're watching 10 out of 10.
With the Pabulum Partners.
And this is the part 2 of today's show. That is, sometimes super isn't natural.
Exactly. And what do we mean by that? Well, basically, we're covering stories from around the world where people have had supernatural experiences. The last part 1, we talked about dreams, but I want to know, have you ever had an experience that dealt with a ghost or some kind of spiritual entity?
Ooh, you know what? I think I have before, where I was just at home, like when I was little. I used to always get scared of like going in the back room because I always felt like something would chase me. And so like whenever I had to go to the restroom, it would be dark in the back. And I would have to like go back there by myself. Man, I used to have a hard time going back there, but I used to run real fast, put on the restroom light, and then go to the restroom. And then if I had to go in the room, I would leave the light on and then go in the room and turn the light on, get whatever I need, and turn off the lights really fast and run back to the front.
Did you see a ghost? Did you see something spiritual? Why were you doing all that?
I just felt, you know how sometimes you could feel something following you?
Really?
Yes, man, I did. That's why I would just run.
Really? But you've never had an interaction with a ghost or anything like that?
I mean, no, not personally.
Oh, you lucky. You lucky.
Nope.
Oh, well, I remember when I was like in the 2nd grade, right? And I had woke up and my mom used to have this red light in the hallway. I don't know why she thought that was cute or whatever, but she would leave it on all night and it was a red light in the hallway. And I just remember seeing the outline of this silhouette of a strong, tall, meaty person. They looked strong, like stiff and strong or whatever. And they were just at the edge of my bed, standing there, not moving or anything. And it was crazy. And the next day, and I was only in the 2nd grade, the next day I told my mom about it and everything. And then there was another occurrence where I think this was like a supernatural experience where I temporarily became invisible. Yeah, that sounds crazy, right? But I remember my mom, she had me in the back seat. It was nighttime and she had drove somewhere to do something. And being a young, inexperienced mom, she left me in the vehicle while she went to go do whatever she had to do. And it was supposed to be really quick. But while she was gone, she also left her purse, the car running, and I was in the car. This sounds really irresponsible now that I think about it. But, but it was like an extreme circumstance. There was something going on that she really had to handle. And it was like extreme. While she was gone, somebody opened the car and searched the whole car, went through her purse and everything. And I sat there like a statue. I didn't move because I was really smart. I think I was like, how old was I? Like 7 at that time. And I just sat there really straight and stiff. They did not touch me. They did not take me. They did not kidnap me. And they didn't take the car. And they just got what they needed out of her purse. And I guess they robbed her. And then they went on. And when she came back, I was like, Mom, somebody came, they went through the stuff. And, and she was just so amazed. And she vowed to never do that again. But she was so amazed that, nothing happened to me or anything like that. They just took like her money and stuff like that. But I felt like it was supernatural because there was something over me, like a shield, blocking them from seeing me. They didn't even see me, yo. They didn't say nothing to me or anything.
Whoa. That's crazy, though. You know what? Maybe this one supernatural thing was that every time I did sleep at the bottom of the bunk bed, it fell. Somebody was knocking it down, squishing me.
I remember that.
You remember them bunk beds falling? That's why we don't get bunk beds no more. We don't.
I know, right? Jeez. Well, let's start.
They're not sturdy.
Speaking of the supernatural stuff, this upcoming story is really supernatural to people. So I'm not even going to give it away. Let's just start the countdown, okay?
Howard was a 38-year-old atheist who didn't believe in life after death. On a trip, he suddenly fell sick with an ongoing stomachache. When he went to the ER, the doctor found that he had a gastrointestinal perforation with corrosive digestive acid leaking into his stomach. He suffered in pain for 10 hours before going unconscious. When he finally woke up, he could see his wife crying over his body. Then someone called his name. "Howard, come with me," the voice said. He followed the direction of the voice, but with every step he took, the room became darker and hotter. Then suddenly, he was bum-rushed by a whole bunch of gnawing people with distorted voices grabbing at every part of his body. Terrified, he was tormented by the constant attacks. He cried out with a prayer. Slowly, the evil beings backed away. Then a light shone on Howard. It started getting very bright. So bright. Until suddenly he was surrounded by a host of angels. The feeling of peace and safety was overwhelming. Flashbacks of his life were laid out before him. Every single time he did the right or wrong thing was documented. One event in his life that stood out was when his sister had a fight with his dad. She was crying. To comfort her, Howard hugged her until she fell asleep. He couldn't believe that this memory, this moment was documented and remembered. When he had a chance to, he asked God what he should do when he returns to life. And God responded, "I just want you to love." Earthly achievements were good, but the interactions with others would count the most. When Howard asked what the best religion was, he was told the religion that's best is the one that would bring him closer to God. As simple as that. When Howard returned to life, he told everyone about his experience, which was met with disbelief. Some of his friends stopped talking to him, and his wife eventually divorced him. He would go on to quit his job as a professor and write the book, My Descent into Death, A Second Chance at Life. Howard graduated from the seminary and started volunteering at a soup kitchen. Later, he would even remarry. Ever since he experienced the supernatural, his life's purpose has never been the same.
Well, that story that we just heard, it was about atheists and he converted. And I'm not sure what his religion was. It didn't really say, but he did convert and he started. It sounded like he was a Christian, but I'm not sure. But he started believing in God after his near-death experience. And we've heard stories like that, like people who have gone to hell for a moment and came back to life, and they told people, "Do you believe those stories?"
I think they're interesting stories. I would say I do believe those stories. People are so passionate, like, and for them to do just like a whole 360 of what they used to be,
Mhm.
I do believe in something that happened, yeah, to them. I
Mm,
believe that they did go to hell, or they might have seen God, or an angel. I do believe that.
And I wonder, have you ever known an atheist?
I have. I've been friends with atheists and people who are agnostic too, as well. They don't not believe, but they don't believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so you, being a spiritual person yourself, and the foundation that we have from our roots, you're able to get along with the people despite their beliefs. How do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, we're all just still people, so we have things in common. We talk about things, we have fun. It's rare that we bring up religion all the time unless we're just on the topic, but the people that I'm friends with are very respectful, and I am respectful of what they believe in. And so we just have whatever topic it is about dealing with religion, we talk about it, and then just be like, oh, interesting, like, or oh, okay, well, okay. Like if you don't
People believe
agree
what
or
they
if you
want to
agree,
believe.
yeah,
They
you
do
don't
their
just
own
like be
thing.
like, well, that is not the way.
Yeah, no, there's some people out here, they are like adamant in changing your personal opinion, not even
Mhm.
knowing the history you have behind your beliefs and why you're like that. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
crazy. They
Yeah,
will
I can't
take
change
you down.
anybody's opinion. I can only live my life and my truth, and I'm okay and open with listening to what you want to share.
Yeah. I would say the root of the world's problems probably are because of religion and money
Hmm.
when it comes.
And somebody stealing somebody's man or woman.
Well, I don't know, because you probably wouldn't even want that man if he broke. So it come down to money anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna fight it. Okay, whole nother topic. Look, you get me out of my spirituality. Okay. Let's go to the next one.
There are many national parks throughout the nation with breathtaking views and history that everyone should experience at least once. But there's one national park that you may want to be cautious of stepping foot in. It was early summer, and Beth and her two friends, Lauren and Abby, planned to do a southwestern road trip to Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona, and then drive home to Texas. The girls were celebrating Beth's promotion at work. Beth, Lauren, and Abby were on their last state of Arizona. They were making their way to visit Antelope Canyon, Horseshoe Bend, and the Painted Desert. Getting plenty of photos for memories, the girls were right on schedule. They were able to hike Antelope Canyon and see breathtaking views of Horseshoe Bend. Exhausted but determined, the three made their way to the Painted Desert. Are we sure we want to do the Painted Desert, guys? It's about to get dark. Lauren says, Yes. We're sure? Abby and Beth reply. The three girls pull up to the parking. Well, here we are. Let's go get our pictures and go. Geez, Lauren, chillax. It's not even dark yet. Abby jabbed back, a little annoyed with Lauren's impatientness. Despite all the mild frustrations, the girls were able to get their photos just before sunset with a little time to spare. Phew, we made it. Let's go. The girls were making their way out of the Petrified Forest National Park. Hey, look at that over there. It's a short trail to view the petrified redwood trees. Let's look before we go. No, let's keep on our schedule, Beth. Yeah, I agree with Lauren this time. Abby gives a look of concern. Okay, fine. But let me at least take a picture of the cool-looking wood as a souvenir. Lauren rolls her eyes but pulls over to the side of the road, and Beth quickly hops out of the car. She walks about a minute ways down to the trail and finds a cool piece of stone to take. She puts it in her pocket and makes her way back. Okay, all set. Let's roll out, Beth says. Finally, driving home to Texas. Laughing and singing along on their journey, a tire blows out. Lauren pulls the car over once again. Great, a flat tire, Lauren says, very upset. We were almost out of the petrified forest. Chill. We can change the tire and be on our way. What's your deal about this national park anyway, Lauren? I didn't want to say it, but the petrified wood is cursed, and I just didn't want to be around it when it's dark. Oh gosh, really? It's not. Look, I'm fine and I have a piece in my pocket. Beth pulls out her stone. You took a piece of stone out from the trail? That's why we have a flat tire. You shouldn't have taken that stone. Well, I'm keeping it, so let's change the tire and get on the road. The girls work together to change the tire and continue their drive back to Texas. Lauren drops Beth off finally at home. Before she could even turn around to say bye, Lauren zooms away. Upon arrival at her home, there was a notice. Dear occupant, unfortunately, your building is under infestation and is now under orders of extermination. Do not enter the building. She had to be ready for her new job and her new position the next day. Luckily, Beth was able to stay with her mom. It was the next morning and Beth arrived at her job, bright and early. Her coworkers looked at her as she made her way to her new office. But before she could sit, her phone rang. It was Beth's boss. He wanted to see her, so she made her way down to his office. Beth, I've tried reaching you a few times on your phone at home, but you never picked up. Yeah, I'm not able to occupy my apartment at the time. Well, Beth, the boss continued, the company is shutting down your department. Beth is very surprised. She's starting to think maybe Lauren and Abby were right about the stone. She makes her way back to her mom's place to find the stone. She digs through her suitcase, she digs through her pouch, and then she finds it. She gets an envelope, along with a note. I am sorry I took the petrified rock from the park. Please accept the rock and put it back in the forest. Beth ships the rock back to the national park that day.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could all get intel about what to expect in life before it even begins? Well, this certainly was the case for Gary. Gary was a musician at heart, a harp player, but several trials and tribulations had prevented him from fulfilling his full potential. One day, Gary was driving home from his taxing 9-to-5 job when a conversation came to his remembrance. When he was only 5 years old, Gary had wobbled up to his mother carrying a handful of Legos and told her some pretty mysterious things. Ma, Gary proclaimed. What is it, Gary? His mother responded. I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. What's that, Gary? I'm going to be a husband with no kids. Gary's mother laughed it off. Oh, is that right, Gary? Yeah. I'm going to work a boring job for a long time making only a little bit of money until one day, on a drive home, I'll remember what she told me. Well, who told you? Gary's mother asked. The angel. The angel? Yeah. She told me that I would be in a major accident that would change my life forever. Gary's mother looked alarmed. Now, why would an angel say something like that, Gary? Because, Mama, sometimes you have to break something down to make something new. Kind of like my Legos. Gary scooped up a handful of toys and ran off, leaving his mother speechless. Gary, now an adult driving his car around a steep hill, awoke from his flashback when a motorcyclist lost control of his bike, sliding across the lanes. A vehicle in front of Gary attempted to miss the sliding bike and reared his car into another lane, but the driver was not aware of a bus full of kids next to him. The car collided with the front wheels of the bus, sending it on a spin. Gary, who seemed to be witnessing this in slow motion, got the sudden inspiration to speed up his car and drive on the right side of the bus in hopes of being a buffer and preventing the bus from rolling downhill. The impact of the bus on his car sent him over the steep hill and through the ambush of rocky edges and shrubbery. Everything went black for Gary. Then he heard a voice. This is it, Gary. This is what I was telling you about. Here's your second chance. Don't throw it away. When Gary came back, he was in a hospital room. Feeling for all his limbs, he couldn't believe he was still alive. Ah, you're awake, a doctor who was observing Gary said. What happened? Gary asked. Your vehicle careened off the road and over an embankment. Your car was completely totaled. You're lucky to be alive. It's been all over the news. Good Samaritan uses car to save school bus full of kids. Really? Gary says. Yeah, in fact, you have a visitor. The doctor brings in a woman. I'll leave you two alone, the doctor says as he leaves. Hello, Gary. You saved my children. I had 2 boys and a daughter on that school bus. I can't thank you enough. I'm a conductor that leads a symphony orchestra, and we had arranged for a field trip for these students so they could see our concert. Are you kidding? I've always wanted to be a part of an orchestra, Gary proclaimed. What instrument? Harp, Gary responded. Ah, the guardian angel's choice instrument. Then Gary remembered his conversation in the dark. You know, I would love to audition. Gary, it's the least I can do for someone who risked their own life to save someone else's. Not only did Gary audition, but he actually made it onto the orchestra. And he would play music for the rest of his life, leaving his 9-to-5 and pursuing his true passion. And it was all because he got that intel from that guardian angel before he was born. Now, isn't that supernatural?
That's a deep one right there. Near-death experiences will cause you to recount and rethink a lot of the things we do in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
A near-death experience. I almost died in college. I would say that. It was the day of my final, and I was on the freeway in Austin, Texas, and this bakery, out of all businesses, you know I love sweets. I love cakes and cupcakes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all businesses, this bakery truck side-swapped me, but they hit me with such great of an impact that my car went up a ramp, spun around, and faced traffic, like I just spit everywhere, oncoming traffic. And my car almost got hit by oncoming traffic on the side road next to the freeway. And it was so crazy. My car was like damaged and I was still alive in one piece. The bakery lady was kind of weird acting because she was like happy. You know, like it was very weird. It was just a weird experience. And then a cop drove right past me, would not stop, would not help me or anything. I even, I had called 911, and it was just a crazy experience. But in that time, you know how they say you see your whole life pass right by you?
Yeah.
None of that happened to me. So I don't know. I think it just happened so fast. I did see a pole that I missed, but I don't know. That did not happen to me. I didn't have time to think about my whole life. I just thought about that final I was missing that day and had to take a whole nother semester of classes to graduate because
man.
that crashed that day. They
Dang.
paid me a settlement, but I was so young and dumb back in that day that back in the day that I signed off on the lawyer called me to the office and I signed off. And mind you, this is a company. And I signed off to get paid it was something like $2,000.
No, Lord.
You're laughing at me. It didn't cover the cost of repairing my car. It didn't even cover the pain and the suffering of missing my final and having to take a whole nother semester at UT Austin, which is not cheap. So
I know, man. What was you thinking?
dude, I was young and inexperienced. You really do learn through pain. I'll tell you that, because that would not happen today. You understand?
I see the fingers in the head. I know it's not gonna happen today. It's like, oh no, wait a second. I got a list of things that need to be paid for.
But I was so thankful to be alive at the time that I was just like, I really don't care. I'm glad I'm here. I'll take the whole semester. I'll just do what I have to do, pay my dues. You know what I mean? Peace.
When thinking of ambulances, you think of a vehicle specifically equipped for taking sick and or injured people to and from the hospital in emergencies. You don't think of ambulance transporting supernatural beings. For sure, Adam and his shift buddy did not expect to be a part of any ghost sightings. Almost every workplace has ghost stories of some sort, and this workplace, as a paramedic, is no different. Being new to the team, Adam and his partner Rosa heard tons of stories about the job from different people. One story that kept coming up was a strange one about the phantom patient in one of the trucks. Co-workers told the new hires a patient was injured pretty bad in a car crash and ended up dying in the ambulance due to complications. Everyone who has worked here has experienced the phantom patient, and so will they. Well, it's been a few months now, and Adam and Rosa have yet to witness this patient. It was the night after Halloween, and Adam and Rosa were parked out in their rig waiting to receive an emergency call. For most of the night, they hadn't received any action, and since it was 3 o'clock in the morning, they were trying to rest their eyes for a bit. But then, Adam hears a soft whisper. Without opening his eyes, he tells Rosa, "Hey Rose, sorry. I'm just gonna take a few moments to rest before we get a call." A few moments later, both Rosa and Adam hear the sound of oxygen in the back, and then someone saying, "Am I gonna die?" They both jump up and jump out of the truck and run to the back, thinking maybe somebody has broken into their truck. When they open the doors, no one's there. Needless to say, for the rest of the night, the two were wide awake.
So have you had a near-death experience that changed your mind or perspective about life?
You know what? When I was little, everything happens to me when I was little, right? So I had two, because one, I felt like I was gonna, okay, let me just tell this story. So I was on this roller coaster and I was not 100 pounds and I was terrified of heights. And when we went down, it's called the Texas Chainsaw Texas Chainsaw.
That's a movie.
The Texas Cyclone and Astro. It was the wooden roller coaster. And we went down. I thought I was gonna fly out of the seat. Literally, because my butt lifted out of the seat and I had to hold on. Oh, I thought I was gonna die. And ever since that day, I've been terrified of roller coasters. So that's my one.
So it made you more scared of life?
Yes, I thought I was gonna flip out. The whole ride, I had to hold on. It was a rough ride for me. And wooden roller coasters are already rough. You're already bouncing all around and stuff. And you gotta hold on when you go down.
Yeah.
that was just terrible. But ever since then, like on that day, the other rides I could do.
Oh,
Yeah, but I was terrified. I almost died there. And then another one was when I was in the back seat and I had this chili pepper stick, tamarindo candy stick. And I was just chewing and chewing, and there was like chili pepper candy stuck in the straw. And I was trying to suck it out, and we went over a bump, and the
And
chili powder went
in the
straight in the back of
throat.
my throat, and I couldn't breathe or anything.
That was actually
Why you
really
laughing?
scary. Because I remember when that happened, and Mom pulled over, and she had to do the Heimlich. What's it called?
The Heimlich.
The omelet. What?
The Heimlich maneuver.
And you was like really choking for real.
I was choking for real. I couldn't breathe. I was in the back, and I was like,
You were. It was so scary, y'all.
yep, my throat
So
was
what did it
burning.
teach you?
Huh?
Did that change your life? Did that make you want to be a better person? Like what came out of that?
Well, I was just like, oh, well, I won't be chewing chili peppers candies anymore in the back seat.
It was Christmas Eve, and Martha, along with her 9 brothers and sisters, wanted to stay up and play with their toys a little longer, so the parents agreed to let them stay up. The parents went to bed, and out of the 10 siblings, only 5, including Martha, had energy to keep playing. The others made their way upstairs to their beds. Shortly after midnight, a strange phone call disturbed the night, and Jenny Sauter, the mom of the family, answered the phone. "Hello?" Jenny said. The caller asked to speak to someone that she'd never heard of before. I think you have the wrong number." The caller laughed and hung up the phone. Jenny noticed that the lights were on downstairs but didn't think anything of it and went back to sleep. The house was quiet, and then there was a creak on the roof. It disturbed Jenny, causing her to wake again. The creak happened again. She woke her husband up to check on it. As he left the room, he noticed that there was smoke. He quickly ran back in to get Jenny and called for the children to get out of the house. As they all met downstairs outside of the house, he only seen 5 of the children. Mr. Sauter went to go look for a ladder to see if he can see the children inside their bedrooms, but the ladder was missing. The house burned down to the ground in less than an hour's time. Reports stated that the ashes from the fire didn't include any children remains. Despite not finding any remains, the coroner ruled the missing children had died in the fire. Well, the parents were unsure of this, of course, and they set out missing flyers around the town. Witnesses reported sightings of the children, but the police refused to open the case again.
Follow us at our website, PabulumEntertainment.com, and then our sister company, the Mouth Soap. You could go to that website to check out the latest in interviews, reviews, and entertainment news, and that's themouthsoap.com. So
yes, and don't forget to click like and share with your family and friends. Help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye, y'all.